how much of a motivation is there to go 5 points clear, albeit early in the weekend? And did you ever feel when you came into the job that you could be in this position so early and making the kind of impact you're making?
The first part of your question, I mean, doesn't really add any significance because, as you said, whatever happens Friday night, there's still a full round of Premier League fixtures to be played, and again, nothing of real significance comes at the end of that. So, but in terms of I don't go into a job not believing I can't make an impact. That's my role, and but like I've said a few times, the measure of that is not really that having some predetermined time frame to when that happens and how it happens. It's about just trying to focus on putting the things in place that I think are important for what we're trying to build, and along the way those the progress comes at various times and at different sort of trajectories. We're in a good space at the moment, but again, we've still got plenty of work to do to make sure that we, what we do now is sustainable, because that's the main thing. It's not about just making a short-term impact. It's about building something that hopefully brings sustained, opportunities of success for the club.
In my experience, managers don't like to talk about a title push in October, November time, but I was going to ask about your experience of being through many league title winning seasons. So what are you saying to players in October and November, even if it is early?
Yeah, I mean, there's a real good reason that no manager would talk about winning a title in October and November, and that's because we all know there's a long way to go, and we don't talk in those terms of the players. My kind of main information sort of flow is about how can we keep improving, how can we kind of tackle the challenge of being in the most competitive league in the world on a weekly basis, because that's the real challenge for us, particularly in sort of our stage of development, is to understand that irrespective of kind of what's happening outside or the noise from outside, every game is a real hard one for us at the moment in where we are as a team, and we need to be fully focused on that. And from my perspective, the lads have been really good at just keeping their eyes firmly on what's next, and what's next for us is a tough game tomorrow night.
On Monday night, James Maddison talked about you giving your opinions to them in pre-season at the Shakhtar game and just reminding them of what's required over the course of 90 minutes. What did you make of that? And are you getting, again, closer and closer to where you want to be compared to what it's been like here in the last couple of seasons?
Yeah, look, my reference point isn't sort of what's happened the last couple of years. My reference point is where I want the team to be, and that's irrespective of kind of where the team's been in recent times. Obviously, like I said, when bringing me in, the club was aware that things were going to change, not because of any other reason, but because of who I am and the way I do things and the way my teams play. So, I've said before, there's no point coming in and sort of tinkering around the edges. We had to make some real changes in everything we did, and that's what we've done. And within that context, there are some pillars of sort of real basic fundamentals that need to be there, and you can there's a few ways you can sort of emphasise that. One is through training, what we do every day, and the game gives you those windows of opportunities where if you see something, or if I see something that I think is not is not part of what I want us to be as a team, then irrespective of kind of whatever the circumstance, whether it's a friendly game, league game, cup game, that's my opportunity to kind of reinforce that to the players.
Hi, Ange. Good afternoon. Top of the league, still unbeaten, but if there is a certain area you would like to see improvement as a team, as a club, what would that be?
All of it, mate. All of it. We still got to grow in every area. But there are areas where we're already very good, and particularly around the defensive side of our game. I think we've been excellent, really consistent. I said after the game Monday night, I think it's what won us the game, just our ability to to willingly work hard, press the opposition, be really disciplined and committed to like forcing oppositions into mistakes. I think that's been really, really good and really pleasing for me. I still think our main growth will come in the attacking side of the game. I still think, particularly in the front third, we're still, a lot of our movements are still sort of not natural and not, fluent like we want them to be, which is not surprising. But what's still getting us the goals is we've got great quality up there that's kind of contributing to that. But I still think, the biggest area of growth for us will be, in our attacking side of the game.
Asking about Heung-min Son, who won the Player of the Month award recently. On Monday, scored his 50th goal at the new stadium. How impressive have you been, not only by his quality, but his leadership as well?
Yeah, they've both been outstanding, as you said. Look, he's a fantastic player. He's been a fantastic player for a very, very long time. So I'm not, it's not me making an impact on him, but I think he's embraced his leadership role, and he wants that responsibility, which is the first thing you need to understand, because it's leadership sounds great and can even seem a little bit glamorous, but there's a lot of responsibility that comes with it, and you need to want that as a player, because obviously people are always looking at you to see whether you're showing not just the behaviours and talking about it, but then when it matters most, game day, you're producing, because that's being a leader. You can't hide, particularly on match day, and he's been a real catalyst for us, both with his goals, but also, as I said before, he's a big part of our sort of defensive structure and press, the way we've been working, and he's been outstanding in that area.
Tomorrow will be your first time managing against Roy Hodgson. What do you think has been his formula or secret to his longevity in the game, and especially in the Premier League?
England-Australia 2016, I coached against Roy up in Sunderland, so I've had the pleasure of coaching against him at international level. Look, he's just an outstanding manager. He's an absolute gentleman. Whenever I have come across him, and people, we talk about Roy, always talk about the kind of person he is, and I love his career. For somebody like me who's had a different journey, I look at somebody like Roy and I've got so much admiration for the career he's had, because I guess for all of us, it's, we start off in this kind of decision to become a manager, and you kind of talk about, well, what's the main thing you want is that you hopefully do it for a very long time, because we love it, but we know that the job has a precarious nature to it. You kind of hang on to the fact that hopefully you have some success that prolongs your career. But beyond that, it's what I love about what I do is the experiences you gain along the way. And I look at Roy and I just think he's had the richest of careers. He's coached here, he's coached abroad, he's coached big clubs, smaller clubs, he's fought for honours, he's fought against relegation, he's coached different countries. Whenever he does decide to quit, and that probably isn't going to be for a while the way he's going, he can look back and he's got such a rich career that I think means more than just having success, or earning a lot of money or fame. I just think the experiences he probably speaks 5 or 6 languages. He can go to multiple countries, multiple clubs, and be welcomed with open arms. Just massive admiration, and a career, hopefully when I get the end of it, can have sort of a fraction of the experiences he's had.
George.
Ange, hello. Just on Roy, he's 76, so I just wondered, will you still be going up to that age as a manager, or do you think?
Oh, mate, who knows? That's not the plan. 76, somewhere on a Greek island, lying back watching football from around the world, maybe, doing some punditry and becoming an expert overnight. So that's the plan, but you never know in life, mate.
Just a word on team news, please. Just any injury concerns.
Yeah.
Is it Udogi?
Yeah, so the two main ones are obviously from the other night, Pape and Destiny. Pape is fine. He kind of bounced back sort of 24 hours after the game. But like I said, he had a bit of an illness and he's trained well. Destiny, we're still going to assess. Obviously it's a short turnaround from the other night, so we'll have a look at today and see how things go, and I'll make a decision after that. Everyone else has come through fine and available.
I can understand you playing down the title tour, but from where you are now, a quarter of the season almost gone, would you be really disappointed if you're not playing Champions League football next season because you've had such a strong start?
I'll be disappointed if we're not a better team than what we are now, mate. That's my measure. If we continue to improve as a team, like I said at the start of the year, I reckon our supporters will give me a fair indication how we're going. So if we get to the end of the year and they're a happy lot, then I reckon we'll be in a good space. So we'll see where that takes us.
Charlie, just
Just following up on what Paul asked about, you told the players in no uncertain terms what you thought wasn't good enough. Just wondered how they reacted to that, and if you've seen a reaction the last few days.
They reacted the same way, they react to everything else. It's not about sort of me doing it to get a reaction. It's feedback. That's my role, and the players expect, feedback that's honest, and if I think they'd be disappointed in me if I just sort of brushed over things that hopefully helps them be better. So, like I said, it wasn't done to get a reaction or to try and prove a point. I just thought second half, the analysis for us was that, we didn't control the game like we wanted to, particularly with the ball. We allowed Fulham to sort of get a bit of a foothold in a game where, we had a great opportunity to take control of, which we have done in most games so far this year. And so there was an opportunity for me to kind of give the feedback to the lads and help them in the process of us becoming a better team and then becoming better players.
Just wondered as well, this is the first time since Fulham in the League Cup, and obviously you made a bunch of changes, but the Monday to Friday, just wondered how that changes your preparation with that tight turnaround.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's all these kind of things are planned. I mean, we kind of put our monthly plan together and we know what's coming, so everything's adjusted accordingly leading up to games, whether that's training, whether the type of training we do. So it's not like, we kind of get to Monday night and think about what we're going to do for Friday. I mean, it's all sort of planned well ahead, and, we've adjusted training accordingly. Looking at the players, I think they're ready to go tomorrow. They're in a good space physically and mentally in terms of recovery from the other night, so there's no issues there.
And just obviously with the fewer games, there are fewer minutes to go round. And I know you've had that previously in your career, but here there are some quite high-profile players that aren't really playing. Has that been something you've had to be conscious of, how to keep them motivated and engaged?
No, I don't think that's my role. My role is to provide an environment where all the players feel like, they're valued, they get an opportunity, they all train together, they all train as one. We don't separate the group. Their own motivation needs to come from within as to how they, if they're not playing, how they use that to contribute. But, we wouldn't be in this position we are right now if we were relying on 11 players. I keep saying that, if games finish at the 80th minute mark, we'd probably be sitting mid-table. So the contributions that have come in those minutes have come from guys who maybe don't start games. So, I think the motivation is there for all the players if they want to be part of and I think that comes hand in hand with being at a big club. If you want to be at a big club, you're not going to be guaranteed anything. You've got to earn everything, and it's no different here.
Rob, please.
Hi, Ange. Ben Davis wasn't in the matchday squad on Monday. How is he? What was the issue? Is he involved tomorrow?
Yeah, no, he's fine. He got a knock day before training. He fair to say, training at times teeters on the edge, and he unfortunately he copped a nasty one at training. Just a bit of a knock, which kept him out. It was the day before the game, so it kept him out of the game. But he's trained and he's fine and ready to go.
I know you said in a club interview last week, Ryan Sessegnon's a longer-term injury. Is he someone who could potentially be back next month, or we think?
No, longer term, mate, longer term. Yeah, still a way to go.
How is Ryan in himself? Because he's had a number of injury issues since he's been here.
Yeah, it's tough for him. It's hard. And that's when people ask me about being motivated. Well, mate, you look at players like Ryan who done nothing wrong, but they're working their backside off by themselves every day to try and get back. if you need a motivation as footballers, there's plenty of it around to say, well, you know what, you may not be playing, or you may be playing as much as you want, but you're still in a pretty good space where you can at least afford yourself the opportunity to play, whereas guys like him have got to work hard to get back to the group. But, Ryan, he's got a lot of support here, and, his medical team, sports science staff are all working hard with him, and he's still part of the group on a daily basis. So we just got to get him back to a space where he's physically able to participate again.
Okay, thanks, Ange.
Finish your section with George at the back, please.
Hi, Ange. I think when Basuma got sent off at Luton, you sort of, I'm paraphrasing, but you said everyone makes mistakes. It's about the reaction. I wondered what has his reaction been like since then, sort of afterwards, and I guess preparing for the Fulham game, knowing he's not going to be in the team.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I was talking about his reaction. I was talking more about the team's reaction when a mistake's made. That we're going to have individuals who at times, sometimes in no fault of their own, will make mistakes that have consequences for the team. It's how we react as a group to that, and I think our reaction to that as a group was good. In terms of Biss himself, I mean, he was disappointed, but his teammates, got the job done, and I think he's appreciative of that. And he also saw the team win without him. So all these kind of things are lessons. If you want to, as I keep saying, I don't need to sort of keep reinforcing anything. That the players are well aware of consequences of actions, and I don't need to make any further point on that. They can see it themselves. That they need to stay disciplined, and if they do make a mistake, then it's just about making sure they're ready for their next opportunity.
I guess that's a nice selection headache to have. Basuma's been really good this season, but Pierre's come in, done a really good job, and leaves you with a nice dilemma for tomorrow.
Yeah, look, it's no different to any other week. There's always, not really dilemmas. They're just, choices that we people in my position have to make, and I've always kind of made those decisions, pretty simply and cleanly about what I think we need tomorrow night, and we'll start with a certain group of players, we'll finish with a different set of players, and it's about trying to get the job done, and then when that game's done, then we kind of look to the next one. So it's good to have Biss available for sure, because he's been a big part of what we're doing, and as you said, the team did well the other night, so that should make us stronger.
And just funny from me, you mentioned about your sort of admiration for Roy. I mean, he's 20 years older than you, but I think it took him 20 years to actually manage in the Premier League for the first time. Out of all the managers in the Premier League, is his journey the most similar to yours from that aspect?
I mean, I don't know if it's similar, but like I said, I admire, the road he's travelled, because it isn't your conventional road. I mean, when he went to Sweden all those years back, it was a big move for an English manager, and they kind of. So I kind of think back, and it was a brave decision for him, and he was such a success there, and it's been a catalyst to his whole career, where he's just kept taking on challenges, and he's kept being given challenges, which means that's how highly rated he is, because you don't keep getting opportunities unless people look at your body of work and think, well, and I'm sure that's what Crystal Palace did last year when they had a choice. Well, Roy's there, we know what he can do, and he's done a tremendous job for them.